Hey everyone, how are you doing tonight? So I am waiting on Cam, um, and I'm waiting for the live to actually start on YouTube. Sorry about that. Um, yeah, so I'm waiting on Cam to show up. While I wait for Cam, how is everyone doing tonight? Hello, Miss Cam. It's so good to see you. I know that you just come in to say hello. I've missed you. Um, Hello, Jenica. I'm so glad you could make it. Um, Hello, Empress Nero. How are y'all doing? Hello, Lisa. Hello, Cher. Hello, Breathless. Um, I am actually waiting for Cam. Hey, Music City Mom. I don't actually have his number. I've emailed him to let him know that it is live, but he may be a little bit busy at the moment, so I'll wait. Hey, Miss Ange, how are you doing? I hope you're doing okay. Hey, Music City, would you mind reaching out to him and letting him know? If he's busy, I'd hate to bother him. Hey, Sun Beach, I hope you're doing well today, Miss Lisa. Everyone, Miss Frankie, hello there, my love. While we wait for Miss Ellen, hello, Mama. While we're waiting for Cam, can somebody go grab his link for me and post it in the chat, pretty please? I should have had that at ready, but I didn't. I'm actually a little bit nervous for this one. I absolutely adore cracking cases. I love Cam and Allie. Plus, they're my neighbors, right? You know, sometimes us locals have to stick together. Just kidding, just kidding. But so, how is everybody doing tonight? All right, Music City. There you go, sweetheart. If you come in again, you should be blue. I know he's so easy. I actually met him and got to shake his hand. Okay, cool. Sorry guys, I'm not cammed up. I actually was going to try to take a shower before the live started so that I could cam up, and I didn't manage to get in the shower, so I'm not going to be on camera today. I hope you guys forgive me. But that picture that is up there is actually me when I wear makeup, so I mean, I'm not catfishing. That legitimately is me. I just look a lot better with makeup on. You know, but that's that's what women always say, right? We always look better with makeup on, right? My hair's not blonde anymore either. It's pink. Thank you, Miss Music City. And before he gets here, just a little mod thingy. Hey, Miss Gossip. Hey, White Rabbit. Just a little mod meeting real quick. Mods, I don't want you to time anybody out. I don't want you to block anybody. That's not what I've got you here for. I mean, as I grow, that, you know, that may be a thing. But right now, my chat's pretty easygoing. We all just come in here. To me, this is my safe space. All right, here he comes. Hey there, Mr. Cam.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, it's quite all right. It's quite all right. I'm actually nervous for this one, you know.
No, you don't
I,
have to be nervous.
well, I get nervous every time I go live, so I get those butterflies in my belly, and then I'm okay. You know, I still stumble over my words every now and then, but
If you'll hit that your view right up under there, it'll make your screens bigger here. The one that's like
have to do that because then I'll be in the frame.
no, the third one over. It's like I'm just trying to help. There you go.
okay. Cool. I didn't know that. See, I'm a newbie at this stuff. So how you doing?
I'm okay. I slept late today. That's where I've been. I needed it.
Well,
It's been stressful.
I'd say so. I'd say so. Can't catch a break, can you?
Yeah, I mean, though, I've somebody sent me something earlier that was encouraging, and they were it was. I mean, it's actually a verse, and it's word for word. It's like I don't, and I'm not trying to make this biblical, but it'll make sense. It was talking about Paul, and he was like, he had a thorn. It never says in the Bible what a thorn is in his side, but it's something that I think it's pride that he's talking about. But he asked God
Mm-hmm.
to take it from him, and he's like, but I'm going to leave it there because you need to find your strengths through your weaknesses. And it says when people persecute, come against you, slander you, do all that, that just means that you're more humble about yourself, and you won't get it. You won't be too prideful, and you won't be too boastful. So it keeps you grounded. It means a lot.
Absolutely.
And that's, I'm trying to find the optimism and stuff. And I don't know if you caught what I kind of tried to move after all the stuff that happened the other night with that other creator. I chose to take a different path. Like, so I'm trying to put things together for, I don't care where anybody is, subscribers, creator, whoever it is, to go get certified in search and rescue in their state.
Right.
And then together, if the law enforcement in Summer Wells case doesn't want people, locals, to search because of fear of getting lost or hurt, then we'll have people that are certified. And when a number of people come together and say, now we're certified, we have people that are experienced, they can only ignore you for so long to go out and make a difference and gather and have people, because I'm sorry, I just think that more can be done. So I'm calling for that. And it is, look, you don't even, I was amazed at the people. I didn't know I had detectives that watch my show. I didn't know that I have firefighters, people with all of these backgrounds that are offering their help. Um, it's a lot, and like I think it could be something big.
Right.
So,
Right. Um. So the reason I had you here is so that you could share whatever story you wish to share. As you know, I do domestic violence, just life stuff on my channel. I'm not in the true crime spectrum whatsoever, you know,
right,
in recovery because I'm in recovery. I felt like sharing my story.
it's good. That's
Um,
perfect.
and I
Perfect
feel
place.
like that's a needed niche here on YouTube.
Will you
Um,
share um her link right now so
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, this is perfect. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to share your link on
oh
my
no, go ahead.
community section to get we can get some people over here that might need to hear this. But I encourage it too. This is the best place to do it. People need to hear that people have struggles. People need to hear that just because uh you've had an addiction, or you've had a uh not so favorable past, whatever it may be, that doesn't uh you know label or describe who that human being is. That just means that doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean because you had an addiction that you don't have the ability to love, or be uh, a part, an asset, or something that can
Right,
help society, because you can change. People can change. It's just the willingness and the drive to change. Some people will do it. Some people won't even ever attempt to do it. People will get comfortable in living and the in and out of going to jail, and they're fine with that. I'm not. I went through it for
right,
years and years and years and years of my life. Um, I think I've done. We added it up. Almost it was over 5 years I've gave of my life to, uh, the corrections department. And that's not all at one time, but that's just gathered, going in jail, coming out of jail over addiction things. And it was just, something was like, hey, in me, I was like, I don't want to live like this anymore. And and the only person that can fix that was me.
Right.
So,
It's absolutely true. I came to the same realization. Of course, I never got in trouble. I was always the one that slid under the radar because I don't look like I would do anything, right? And I lived in the hood, and the cops would just look at me and pass me by. You know,
yeah,
I because I don't look like the typical user. I was always pegged as the good girl,
right.
and thankfully, because I wouldn't. I absolutely don't know what it feels like to be in jail and don't ever want to go there. But, I mean, at least I got my act together and I am in recovery. I'm actually, I think it's 8 years clean now.
Awesome. Awesome.
So, I never did anything, it's the typical story, opioids, it was Roxy's for me. That was my crutch. And, yeah, and then Suboxone, which that's hard enough to come off of, but
Look,
I
I don't. I got my. I'll speak about. I've got my. I don't know if you've heard me talk about the Suboxone program and how sometimes it's. Well, I'll get in that. Go ahead. Finish what you're going to say.
Oh, no, go right ahead, please. The floor is yours.
No, I was just gonna say that there's when you go into recovery, sometimes people are made to feel like because they are using a maintenance program like Suboxone or methadone or something or whatever it may be that they're they're not full. The people that teach those recovery classes sometimes will make them feel like, well, you're not sober, you're using a crutch, and you need to do it my way. Well, there's many walks to sobriety, and not everything that somebody else did will work for that person.
Right.
And I stand behind it. I stand behind the Spox program. It's helpful, and sometimes people need it because if it, with my experience, impulse was my problem. A very impulse person. Like when I wanted it, and I was going to get it, and nobody was going to stop me. So when you have something to keep those, something to keep that craving down, or whatever works, and I don't hate on anybody because, and that's not right that you would want that somebody would go into a recovery trying to get help and then be pushed out by the people that offer recovery because you're not doing it their way. That's not right.
Right. Absolutely not. And I know still today, I refuse to change my pharmacy because they know me there.
Right.
If I go
Same.
anywhere else, I get looks, I get judged. Oh, I don't have it. And they've got a shelf full. They can refuse service if they just don't like your look, and I
That's
don't think
right.
that should be legal either.
That's right. I've had the same thing happen to me. Go in and questioned, looked at, in front of a whole pharmacy, especially the big chain ones. They will they will look at you like you were the world's worst person and make you feel like that. And I'm not the one to do that to because I'm very outspoken. So yeah, I've caused many a big scenes in places, but it's and that's the one thing I'll talk about because on this subject here is that when I went through the recovery course I went through is called Living Free program, and how they encourage people to continue is that once you are in there and you complete course, they give you the opportunity to become a facilitator and teach it.
Hmm.
Well, when I got to that and took the courses and got certified to be a facilitator, I never acted like that I was any better than anybody at that table. I said, look, I can, I fall short daily. Did I struggle? I came in there and was just completely open and said, yeah, this is what I did today. And some of the people would be like, wow, you're sitting up there and you're saying that. Yeah, because I'm not, I'm not no better. If something triggers me or if something happens, I mean, I'm not going to act like it, like I, well, I can't tell nobody that because then they might take my chair from me. If anything, it made more people talk about, hey, this guy's real. This guy really wants to help. And that's what people need more of. That's what there's problem in church these days. That's why I don't go to church, because people feel like they get saved, that they're then absolved of all sin and it doesn't affect them anymore. That's not realistic. That's not real.
Right. You're right.
And that's what the problem is. Yes, I do believe in my faith because that's what carried me to be able to, I guess, strengthen me to do better for my family. And it's real. But all you have to do is have a personal relationship. If you pray, and I'm not pushing it on nobody, that's just what helped me. And I fully believe in it. But I think it's needed. You have to have something to believe in to strengthen. If you have nothing to believe in, so what's the point of feeling like, I'll make this easier. What's the point? How are you going to ever feel good about yourself if you feel like that you are just nothing, that your life isn't significant and you're not important? You were put on this earth to, or however people got here, they want to believe that they got here to work and die and become dirt again. So what is that? What's the important? There's nothing encouraging to that. But if you tell every single person that you're special and you can change somebody's life by what you've been through and you are significant, everybody has a plan. It's how you, if you choose to take hold of it and use it. If that makes sense.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. It absolutely does. I definitely believe there's a purpose in why we're here. And if this YouTube channel helps one person, now I'm just saying for me, because, I don't do true crime, which is a valued thing, that's totally a valued thing. Right.
Right.
But for me, I get too close to the kids or the missing, and I can't do it because for my mental health, I can't, I mean, I would go out, today I would actually, anytime that they need help with searches, if they want volunteers, I'll definitely do the volunteering thing. But for me on YouTube, if what we're talking about helps one person, then I'm all for it.
Right.
Period.
Right. Allie, what did you say? She's back here crying. What did you say? Oh, she's the same. She said you're sitting there saying that about the missing and just how it affects you. She's watching videos on stuff. It was on summer. She's back here crying. I was like, she understands. It affects it. And I actually felt the same way. I know what you're talking about, because if you can't, some of the videos that we go back and watch, sometimes people I don't think really look at why are you involved in this case? What's important? When you look into those videos and there's a certain part of when Summer looks at the screen, like makes eye contact, and it's like it touches her. I have a 6-year-old daughter that looks, and it's like Summer's, without her ever speaking on video, you feel like you know who she is.
Yes.
And my 6-year-old daughter reminds us, so that's what we do this for. And this is what really launched off us trying to be a part of it and make a difference. But I can imagine, I see her every time I see these other videos, and we are also guilty of losing sight of why we do this sometimes, and it becomes something that you forget why you did it, so you have to go back and humble yourself. Help me, babe. Is that right? Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure I'm saying it right. Makes sense. But yeah. Anyway, I don't want to go off topic. Go ahead. I don't know where to go.
Oh, no. So do you want to share your recovery story, or do you, I mean, I don't want you to share anything you're uncomfortable. I know that you've shared it on your channel, your journey.
Yeah, I can share it with you. And I'll actually share some things that I probably haven't even talked about on mine. So yeah, all right. Yeah, and somebody said children do deserve sober parents, and that's why we take such offense to things, to insults and false accusations that come at us, because I've worked very hard. That woman, I don't know how I deserve her, but I got her, and she holds me accountable. Um,
And you two look really good together. You really do. I love
Thank you.
seeing y'all together at the vigil. It was.
Oh, thank
I
you.
got a picture of it, so.
I enjoyed meeting everybody too, and it makes it, and I hope people see it. And I mean, you can attest. I'm the same on here as I am in real life. Am I not?
You are. You
Yeah,
are.
if not even more. Uh,
You're a lot taller though than what I thought you would be. You're huge.
I don't think people realize that I'm a big guy,
You
but
are. You remind me of my youngest son. He's 6'5", and he's like 250 pounds. So
I mean, that's, I just chose to eat better. I took advantage of the stress. I know I lost a grandmother and everything too this year, and just the stress of this. Like I started being able to, I don't. Me and Allie are different. Like when I get stressed out, I don't eat. Some people choose to stress eat,
Me.
and
and me.
and I took advantage of it. I started just eating a little better, and it gave me more energy, and I feel better about myself. And I'm always been a energetic person, but when I was overweight, and I've, like I said, struggled with it my whole life, and I've had a lot of self-esteem issues over it. So I don't know. I've just always been more of an outgoing person, and I was losing that. So when I just took advantage of it, started eating better, and I feel better, and I'm becoming more active again. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, back to it. I'll tell y'all, this is my story, and I'll get pretty detailed. So, all
I've
right.
got trigger warnings in the. I've got a trigger warning in the description.
Okay. I'm not going to filter it. So,
No,
if
please
that's
don't.
okay. Okay. So, I grew up in a household that was in church. My parents, that were before they divorced, were good, very good parents, raised us right. And then, out of nowhere, when I was about 10, 11, my mom and dad separated. My mom had gotten a job, and my dad had struggled with addiction, but nobody knew it. He's a graduate of Virginia Tech and Bluefield State, an environmental engineer. He had a great job, degree, made good money, but he had an addiction problem. Well, my mom, which she regrets to this day, she found it was weed. She found 2 bags of weed in his coat pocket and flipped her lid. But this is also a long time ago. Um, and she ended up getting with another guy and cheating on my dad, and it was just a bad situation and a hard situation for me and my brother. Well, my mom, the guy she got with, was ended up being an alcoholic, so I didn't understand really, and I couldn't stand the man, and he couldn't stand me. And there's a reason for me telling this part, because it'll make sense. Um, so my brother is 2.5 years younger than me, and we are very, very, very close. Always have been. And he had left to go live with my dad. He went with my dad to my grandparents' house and moved in. And my grandparents owned a pharmacy and very well off. I stayed with my mom because I'm a mommy's boy. I always have been. And years went by, and my mom became less strict on me, and I was able to run around, start going kind of down the wrong road. I got in trouble for stealing cigarettes one time at a store, and that started out kind of this getting in trouble, like, I guess, bad boy thing, because I saw people were like, oh, and I was young. So in school, people were like, oh God, Cam stole cigarettes. He's a cool whatever. You know how kids do. So I started embracing that, I guess. Um, Started hanging out with kids and smoking weed. But I always was able to hang out with kids way older than me. Like I'd be in middle school, high school kids like me. Um, so I had that's always not a good thing. It's why it's very good to be aware as a parent of who your kids are hanging out with and know those kids very well. Well, so years go by. I'm about 14, and my mom and I were in a car wreck. We were hit by a tandem coal truck, and it about killed us. And my mom was in a coma for over 3 months, and when she did come to, she was it was like almost like a child. Um, she had to go to rehab and learn how to, uh, uh, you know, to become herself again. And I had a broken hip. I about died right after the wreck, but my dad, this is something my dad has always told me. He said he come into the hospital, and the chaplain was there to tell him, read, what is it called? When if somebody's gonna pass away, the chaplain at the hospital, what did they?
They just came to like pray with
They
him.
come to pray, last pray with him, and he's my dad said he walked by me. He said, "Get away! I ain't got time for that." And so he wasn't going to accept it, and I pulled through, and but the reason I'm telling that is because my mom had never done drugs, never been that kind of person, was a good mother, but when she had this brain injury, then they started prescribing her, Oxy 80s, and then she had a script for Oxy 60s or Oxy 40s for breakthrough pain. So she's getting 80s and then 40s too for breakthrough pain. I'm 14. They're giving me Roxy 30s. My dad, he's struggling with addiction, but he's still on my medication too. This is when life took a different took a different road, and this is when everything started going crazy. Well, mom, she didn't remember anything from before the wreck, and she had separated from my stepdad, and me and her had moved into an apartment, and we were doing very well before that. And I was so proud of her because my stepdad was abusive to her. He hated me. They ended up having a child together, which is my youngest brother. He's a baby at this time, very small child. He was actually in the wreck with us, but this is how God works. We're crushed by a tandem coal truck. This car looked like a ball of metal. That car seat was not touched. That little boy had a seatbelt burn. That's it. But and so he's young, and he's had to go live with my grandparents. My mom comes out of the hospital. She has these high, very potent narcotics. Starts getting around the wrong people. My stepdad comes back into the picture. My mom starts using intravenous, shooting them intravenously. She then becomes more of a friend to me than my mother, and she's the first person to put a needle in my arm. So I'm 14, 15, struggling with this. This is what, it went drastic. I went from smoking weed maybe here or there to doing this. So I mean, this is what my teenage years consisted of. Well, then with her back with my stepdad, she kicks me out. At 14, I'm running around trying to stay at friends' houses. Sometimes they won't let me. I have a tent that I carry with me. I'm camping where I can, going to gas station bathrooms to go to high school, but then, not let anybody know my situation, so I don't have to deal with, people, CPS, people. I wanted to do my own thing. I had an addiction, but I still had enough drive to try to go to school. Well, the times I would go back into my mom's house when she would let me come back, if we got into any kind of argument or anything, she would call the police on me and make up a report and get me arrested. And then lie in court under oath on me. So I was going to juvenile detention centers and getting the max sentences around here 6 months before they send you up the road to a juvenile penitentiary. So I'm spending 6 months. They're giving me. I'm going to school in juvie, but my I'm not getting the high school credits for it. So when I go get out and go back to high school, I'm so far behind with no way to catch up. So I feel right, I feel right then and there that, what's the point? I'm like, what am I doing? I'm just going to school for nothing. I'll be here forever. So I hear about the GED program. Um, you know, my addiction's in full force through this at a young age. A lot of my friends didn't understand. They're young. They shouldn't understand what I'm doing. So, I'm kind of still by myself with in hiding the worst parts of my addiction. I would do any drug and every drug that was put in front of me. But I still at this point had a drive to try to do something. I was like, I got to get a GED, got to do something. So I got my GED. I actually got it so fast that they said that they were like, they gave me a scholarship it was just a community college, but it was, I had, I can't remember exactly what the scholarship in it that it offered, but it was pretty good because I ended up completing GED within a month, I think. So I was proud of myself for that. But I didn't take advantage of the scholarship. But so let me see where to go. So from that car wreck, I was given a settlement at that, but I couldn't touch it. And so when I turned 18, I was broke. I didn't have nothing. They wouldn't give me a license from trouble I'd been in. I was like, what can I do? My settlement wasn't allowed to be touched till I was 28 years old is how they had set it up. I would get payments of like $5,000 a year, which was not enough. I had only gotten one payment, and I spent that so fast. And so I'm 18. I don't have any family that cares about me. I don't have any just didn't see a future, and I know I have this money, and I keep seeing these commercials go, JG Wentworth, it's my money, your money, and that commercial. I did that, and now I'm 18 with addiction and all this money. I sold a settlement of $150,000 for $75,000 because it was stupid, but I did it because I didn't. So dumb. Anyway, I spent that in a 4-month period. I went to, yeah. I mean, I was buying ungodly amounts of drugs, cars, clothes. People around me that I was hanging out with were ODing constantly, but I never did, and I didn't understand that. I'm like, I'm doing just as much as they are, if not more, and it doesn't affect me like that. And I got really depressed through this because when people say money doesn't buy happiness, it's true. Very true. You can have all the money in the world and you can be going out and having the ability to do anything you want, but that don't mean you're going to be happy. I had all these addictions and I'm piling so much drugs in my system that I really don't understand how I didn't overdose, but my girlfriend ended up overdosing at the time, and she had an epileptic seizure. Well, she never really recovered from that. It was from it was from crack though. We were smoking crack, and I got that and doing pills and doing nerve pills, opiates. Along with that, well, she had an epileptic seizure, and she started constantly having them, even if it wasn't drug induced, and it was very scary. She ended up dying. a few years later after that, and that affected me really bad. Because I always felt like I was at fault for her, because she would be out with people and she would have these seizures, and they would just drop her off on the side of the road.
Oh, wow. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Sorry. But it's not the fact. I just felt responsible for that.
Right. I get
We
that.
weren't even together, and it's not like it was even like that. It was just to watch somebody and you hear these stories of people just throwing somebody out like a piece of trash.
Right.
It bothered me. Well, so that I had that happen. I have my little brother that's looking up to me through all this. I want to go back to him. I was like his. I don't know how to explain it. Like I could do no wrong in that boy's eyes, and I missed the part that I'm going to go back to. Like I'll go back to this. So there's everybody knows my story of what happened to us. I was essayed by a guy, and made sure my brother wasn't touched by that man, because of my dad, dropping us off somewhere to go on a drug run, and this guy took advantage of that situation and tried to hurt my brother and I. He did. Like we kept spinning my brother away from him,
Right.
and I got the full force of that. So for years I always took care of him. I was like, I don't care what happens to me as long as he's okay and he doesn't have to, feel any effects of this. And I don't want him to be a part of anything I'm doing. Well, then it got, as I got older there and all this happened, my brother's, pretty much screaming out for a relationship with me. He's like, why are you ignoring me? Why do you not want to hang? I was like, I couldn't tell. I'm protecting you.
Right.
But I fell into it, and I ended up, bringing him into it and giving him things I was doing. And he still right now to this day is facing charges and going through, and so I deal with that daily too. I feel like I'm responsible for that, leading him astray. But I also try to be a good influence now, to also show him, hey, you can come away from it. But but there's, sorry guys if y'all in the chat, I'm bouncing around a lot. I know it's hard to keep up with, but so I told a story one time when me and Allison first got married, and we had our son. We lived in an apartment, our first apartment. My brother came over. I was standing in the kitchen by myself with him, and he just said thank you to me, and I said, for what? And he said, you know what? And I said, don't. But the way he looked at me, I knew what he was talking about. And I said, you remember that? And he said, yeah. He said, dude, he said, thank you so much. I mean, I lost it. I thought, for him, and my brother's not very outspoken. He holds a lot of stuff in, and he so when he does say something, he means it, So when he said that to me, I was like, I felt like it, I was like, there's a reason, there's a purpose, that, I started seeing the light in it. I guess that maybe that because some people, when something tragic like that happens to them, and I don't know a lot of men that have been through it, but I know in my situation, like, it's very, very tragic to men. It can ruin them forever. It makes you question your sexuality, makes you feel like you're not masculine.
It did that to my brothers. My brothers were abused as children, and I can't, that's their story to tell. But I do know my oldest younger brother, because I'm the oldest. My middle brother, he went from a happy kid to an angry kid, and nobody knew what was going. Nobody knew at the time why because it was like all of a sudden it was just overnight. And then once the abuser moved away, he told us. Once he felt like he was secure, he told my mom.
Yeah.
And she got him counseling, but he still struggles with that. He still struggles with that.
It's very hard, and I understand. I was angry for years, and the way that I hid it from people was to put on this front, this bad, and with my size and everything, like you said, like I used that to my advantage. That I'm like, I used to put on this persona that I wasn't nothing to mess with. Yeah, that's when I say tell people, like the person I am now is completely 180 or 360 from who I used to be when you met me. Tell them.
Oh yeah, you're completely different than who you were then.
I was just
You were a very angry, bitter person.
very bitter, and like for her to have seen this person in me, that's what she always tells me, that I always knew that this Camden was there.
Yeah.
And how she saw through, I'll never know, because I was very quick to. I didn't talk to you about it like I was about it. If I had a problem with you, we're fighting. I didn't care. Didn't care if I hurt you by words I said, whatever. Um, and that's not a way to be, man. That's because you're taking out the way you feel and making somebody else feel that way. That's not right.
Right.
So it took me a lot. It took me many years to get through that, and I was going. This is the point in time, right when my son's born. You think that, there for a while, I embraced. I was like, I have a child, I have a wife, but I still didn't feel like, I was like, I don't deserve this. They don't. They deserve it. He deserves to have somebody way better than me. I was going through a lot of depression, and I didn't care if I lived or died. I didn't care. Like I tried to overdose myself many times. Tried, and it could not do it. And I mean, I literally, she watched me do it sometimes. It scare her to death. Like she would say, I would stay up all night watching me breathe, because she's like, she just knew I was going to die. But that, that that was another thing that led to me knowing that there has to be a reason why I'm here. Because I was like, there is no reason I'm here. I have no purpose, is what I felt like. I was like, there's no purpose. I questioned God, I cussed God, and this is why my faith is strong now, because I see that there was a purpose for me. And when I'm not gonna filter this, guys. I would pull up ungodly amounts of methamphetamine and opiates that would kill somebody like that, and I would do it, and I would shoot it, and it would do nothing. Like I was that far gone. And so I did this on a regular basis too. I got to the point that my depression so my daughter's born through this, and now I have two children, and I'm like, they're very close together, and I was like, they were they're very little babies, and I was like, they deserve better than me. Why am I here? I can't do this. This is not where I'm supposed to be. I had this really weird episode. I don't know where. I've always wanted to try to say it was drug induced, but I don't know what it was. I ended up one day taking. It's a CO2 power. It's a pellet gun. It's not a BB gun. These things will literally. They break skin. They will go in you if you get shot with them. I put one in the roof of my mouth and shot it, and I still have that in the roof of my mouth right here. If it had been just an inch back, it went through the soft part up, and that's when I knew that this is when my life started changing. And this has been right at over 6 years now ago that this was the change in my life. My brother was there. This is what's crazy about this. My brother was there and witnessed this, and through when I say that what the devil uses for bad, God will always turn and make good. There was a reason he was there and saw that. There's a reason that happened, I mean, I started pouring blood, but I didn't care. I started laughing. I came home, and when I told Allison about it, and I said, what scared me was not dying. What scared me the worst was that I wasn't scared to do it. That's when people get to that point in their life, it's it is terrifying, and those people uh, are are I don't know how to say this. That's when you watch people teeter on. You never know what they will do, and they're capable of anything. Okay, my brother saw this. I saw that affected me bad. Um, I ended up getting pulled over like 3 days later with a firearm under my seat, and the way things went, I am happy that this happened in my life. I went to jail, and I had been out of jail. And the crazy thing through this, I had stayed out of trouble for 10 years from my past. I had not been in any trouble, had not been in anything. And with the way this went down, this cop, I'd got my civil rights back, but not my gun rights back. And I told him that, and he said, what I told him was, no, I got my gun rights back. He said, I'm taking this, and you have 5 days to bring me the proof that you have your gun rights back. I knew I didn't have them, and I knew I couldn't produce them. On that 5th day, they showed up at my house and arrested me, held me with no bond. Uh, they put me in medical, which is almost like segregation in jail. I was having seizures. I was falling out. I was going through withdrawal really bad. But I knew that this right here was the time in my life. I said, I can either spend this time and let the devil be in my ear, and I can go that way, or I can pray to change my life. And I did, and I said, I'm going to let God, and I begged. I said, tell me what my purpose is. Hold on.
Okay. Take your time, Cam. You got me crying, so.
And I swear to you, when I asked him that, I felt like the loneliest person. I'm not crying because it's sad. I'm crying because I remember how this felt. I felt like the loneliest person in the world at this point in time. But when I prayed that prayer, I felt like I would like he was with me there. It's crazy.
I've had those moments.
Oh, 1 second.
Okay.
I did not mean to lose it. Like, I'm sorry.
It's quite all right, Cam.
All right, so I felt like I felt like that, I knew why. Like, I felt like I wasn't alone. I knew why I was here. It all made sense, and there was a guard that was in there. This is crazy. And I'd been in there a lot, and they knew me by my first name, knew me personally. This guard walked by, and he'd seen me in and out there. He said, he stopped by that cell door, and he said, I think this is a blessing in disguise for you. What made him say that, I don't know. But I held on to that. And he's now my kid's school resource officer. And when I see him, I told him, I said, you don't know how much that, I held on to that. And he said, I know. He said, I saw it. He said, you weren't meant for that. And he said, you were meant for bigger and better things. And he's watched me grow. He's watched things I've done in my life, and since then, this officer has. And you know, the the crazy thing is, his dad went to school with my dad, and so I knew this guy. But he took that route, and my dad and me took the other route. They're cops, but we were always still cool with each other, friends like that. And but him becoming my kid's school resource officer, and the things that you know that have just transpired, and that they're not on accident, and that uh, when you can look back at it and see that God was working, as those things don't happen by accident. Things that happen in people's lives, you have to pay attention and look at them for what they are, because don't dismiss it as coincidence, especially good things. And this is why I say, even in true crime stuff, I don't believe in coincidences with bad things, because you can see evil at work just as much as you can see good.
Absolutely.
I don't know, guys. That's about what I got. I just want to tell people, though, don't ever, if you have somebody in your life that's struggling, or you are struggling yourself, when I say show people love, tell them that they understand. Sometimes somebody that's struggling with addiction, and I know from the other person's side that having to deal with a person struggling with addiction, it's hard sometimes to show that person love or understanding. But but to sit down and say, look, just talk to me, tell me what you're feeling. I don't want to yell at you. I don't want to tell you what you need to do. I want you to know that, look, these are the qualities you have that you're not using, but I know that you can make them feel like they're part of something. There's actually a country that revamped the way they deal with addiction, and they decriminalized it. But when they put them through rehab, they give them a job that makes them feel like part of society, and feel like somebody, and feel like they are something. And I think their fallback rate, like people that will go back into addiction, is almost non-existent. People that feel like they are a part of something. Addiction is usually people hiding, covering up pain. That's a big, big, big reason for it. And I know it was mine too. It starts out as something, feeling good. And some people have the ability just to do something here and there. But a lot of people, once they feel that what that numbness can do, and they like, oh, I have pain in my life, and when I do that, it covers it up, and I don't have to deal with it for a little while. And before they know it, it's full force, something that they can't hold. They can't keep a leash on anymore, and it's controlling their lives. Sometimes look, going to jail is not always a bad thing. Getting in trouble, it's not always a bad thing. But also, I feel like that if there's a route that our country is really, falling short on, is like I just said, like rehabs and stuff like that. Usually, you go into, you can go to jail. This is another problem, though. You might get locked up, and it might sober you up for a while. But depending on, like I said, you have time to either to better yourself, or you can become a better criminal and make connections for more drugs when you get out. And so it's really all on the individual. So, but if you're not giving those people that opportunity to either make better connections, and say, maybe when they get in trouble for addictions and put them in a rehab with people that are, that aren't going the other way, because there's a difference between a drug dealer and a drug addict. And lots of drug dealers don't do drugs. The ones that are really pushing and making a problem in our country, they don't do drugs. Their addiction is money.
Right.
And I didn't get into a lot of some of the things in my life, but how I supported my habits was, I was a dealer, and I was a big dealer. There's people that do that too, but I was always the kind of person that I was like, if I'm going to have these addictions, I'm not going to pay for it either. So I would be a dealer, and that's how, and in large amounts too. And that's why, uh, I tried to be, what am I trying to explain here? I don't want to promote it. Like, to not make sure y'all had money issues or anything like that, I would always. That's how I would cover. I would take
Not
care
in
of
the best
them.
way, but you did.
Yeah. Well, tell them that. You tell them that.
I said he took care of us, not in a good way, but he did. He always provided for his family. He didn't make the best decisions in doing that, but he always made sure that we were.
But I provided my
provided for.
addiction too through it. You see what I'm saying? And then you have those kind of people, and it's hard to disseminate. Now you're breaking the law when you're selling drugs too. Now there's the addicts that don't. There's it says buy, sell, here, or trade when you get in trouble for distribution. But more so, they're going after the people selling it. So when you break the law, you are going to go to jail and face charges. But there are programs now in other states and countries too, that when you have those certain crimes, that they give you the ability to kind of to see who the dealers are that are just doing it for the money, and the people that are have the addiction. So you have the opportunity to go in and get yourself clean and not be around people to make worse choices. It's kind of that's where I was going with that. But I don't know. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry I was late.
No, thank you. Thank you for coming up. Thank you for being gracious enough to come up, and thank you, Allie, for being kind to me at the vigil and let me get that last hug in.
I enjoyed meeting you. I really did.
I'm a hugger, not a mugger, right? I'm a hugger.
Is Allie? I don't think people see that she is the sweetest person. Like, I am so fortunate to have her, and for her to have stood by me, because I'm telling you, she might say those things like now, but for her to have sat by me, I saw the pain in her eyes. Um, if I wouldn't have had her, who knows where I would be. Um, and it's not every day that you meet people like that one right there behind me. And that's my angel right there. I met her. Also, I want to add this. I met her. She was doing clinicals to get her nursing degree at a rehab, and I was in there running from a violation probation, and she, I don't know. I saw her. I knew that I would be with her the rest of my life, and that happened. So yeah, that's the reason my life changed the most right there, because I knew what I had. So
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys are so good together. You look good together, and you guys just, I don't know, you guys remind me of Rabbit and her husband. They're good together too, and because I've met them.
yeah,
And
she's awesome. I like her. That's why I go over there sometimes. I like to go over there, and I can tell her heart's. She's got a good heart.
she does. She's exactly the same on the YouTubes as she is in person, except she's a little bit funnier offline than she is on the YouTubes. And she's funny on the YouTube, so.
I cuss a lot more in real life, to tell everybody. People at that vigil up there, I walked by and dropped something, and I think I've been over and said, "Oh shit," and they were like, "Damn!" So I was like, "Oh, it's worse than that."
Yeah, I got a sailor mouth too. Had to curb it a little bit, I don't want to come on here cussing like a sailor on my channel, but yeah, I thank you.
You're welcome. This right here, and I want to promote you. If you, this right here, it will make a difference.
Absolutely.
And if this is all, I'm like you. If all this does right here is help somebody that might be watching, that can show their loved one that's struggling, hey, look what this dude did. Look, I'll show these to y'all. Like, you saw them in real time. My tattoos are scars, mostly because of how bad I hurt. I pretty much, with my IV drug use, I scarred my whole body up, and my legs, everything. And I was like, they're so ugly. I was so embarrassed of them. I covered them up, but now I don't, because this is my testimony. This is what I came from. This is what I lived through, and I wear them as you know, my battle wounds. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. You ought to be proud of those because you're a survivor and you're a warrior.
thank you.
And your testimony means a lot. And like I said, thank you for sharing it on my channel. I know that you've shared it on your channel, and thank you for sharing it here on
No
mine.
problem. No problem.
This
Anytime.
is what I hope to be able to do, like just interview different people and let them come up and share their stories, because a lot of times I think it's more therapeutic if people share their stories. It
It
gets
is.
it off their chest. They don't have to keep it in. This is a place where nobody judges anybody because we're all human. We make mistakes. We flub up everywhere,
That's
right?
right. That's the thing. That's too. Yes, that's perfect what you're saying too. This is what people got to understand. If you fall short, I don't care how long you've been clean or how short. If you fall, get back up. Don't waller in it. Brush yourself off and say, "Look, I'm human. I made a mistake. That's okay. It's okay. I'm not no worse." A big problem with people is when they're addicts are very very hard on themselves when they feel like they're very critical of themselves. A normal person might make a little mistake and they're like, "Oh, what?" But a lot of times people that have addictive personalities, they they are harder on themselves than anybody else could ever be. So when they do make mistakes, they feel like they are just the worst of the worst. I'll never do anything better than this. I can't win. They that's what they believe. So to it's very important to show people and people understand that it's okay. You're gonna make a mistake. You're not a piece of shit. You're not a bad person. You can brush yourself off, use it, learn from it,
Right.
and if you do it again, it's okay. It's okay. Just don't let it don't fall and like backslide and then stretch it out a month and then come back.
Right. Don't use it as an excuse to keep doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And like you said, this is good. I cried and I went back to that place in jail. Like I needed that too. I needed that. I needed to feel that again. Because I think sometimes it becomes just a story until you get back to
Right.
that feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much again.
Well, no, thank you guys. Guys, be sure and go sub up to Cracking Cases, Cam and
Oh,
Allie. Um, they have a wonderful channel. I'm
thank
usually
you.
lurking. I don't usually type a whole lot, but I am lurking.
Last
Uh,
night, dude, was y'all come over and check it out. I gave out a lot of the merch that we have. I just wanted to give it away for some reason. I paid for it out of my pocket because Teespring don't give you no freebies. I promise you that. But I want to do stuff for you guys. I love you guys. Well, I see a lot of people in here that are sub to us, and that's not what we want to give back to y'all. I want my channel is not just true crime. I want to be whatever we are, whatever that is. We're going to help people with, you know, being positive. I do a lot of lives where it's just whatever I want it to be. I don't.
right.
That's just being real people. So yeah, I mean, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but thank you. And I'm going to promote this, and I'm going to promote this channel, your channel, and and I can probably send some people your way to tell their life stories.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, I'm going through my list of. Actually, I've emailed a couple of creators, and I don't know because I'm a smaller channel. They probably, yeah. But I mean, thank you for coming on.
No problem.
I sort of attacked you with that at the
No,
video, like,
no, you
hey,
didn't.
please.
You haven't though. You've asked me for a while, and I get so freaking busy, and I forget so much stuff. I overload, and I got to get more. I got to get more. I guess better at scheduling things and writing stuff down because I think, oh yeah, I'll remember that, and I don't.
Yeah,
So
I'm the same way. If I've went to sleep, I've done forgot it. That's my thing. I have to set alarms and reminders and
and
yeah,
if you're like
all the things.
if you're anything like us, once you go to sleep, like you'll be motivated the day before. I go to sleep and I'm like, I put it off for that day
Yep,
anyway.
absolutely.
I'll sleep.
Same.
I'm just laying here.
Same.
Thank
I'm
you.
the world's worst procrastinator for sure.
Yeah, both of us are, aren't we?
Oh gosh, yes.
That should be our middle name.
All right. At the end of these, I usually try to go through and do a roll call. I have a lot of people in here. If I miss your name, thank you for being here. I don't think I'm going to do that tonight. Bieber, thank you for coming by. Lupus
yeah.
Mom, thank you.
Bieber, is nice meeting you.
Yes, very much so.
Prissy, thank you for being here. Checking as always. Ellen, thank you for being here. Oh, Miss Campbell, I'm just going to say Miss Campbell because I will definitely butcher your name. Thank you for being here. Brianna, thank you for being here. Breathless, thank you for being here. Ruby, please email me. And you know what? Thank you for being here. Empress Nero, thank you. Thank you, Miss Kimmy. Thank you for being here. And anybody that I missed, White Rabbit, I know you were in here. I don't know if you're still here, but I know you were here. Thank you for being here, guys. As I always say, guys, we're not promised tomorrow. Please call your loved ones and tell them you love them.
That's right.
I always tell you that. And you know, my last thing I'll tell you, please smile at a stranger. They'll either think you're crazy or they'll smile back. It's
That's
a win-win for me. I don't know about y'all.
That's right.
Cam, you got anything you want to say?
Just in close, I agree with you. You're not guaranteed. We're not guaranteed to wake up tomorrow. We're not guaranteed to be able to walk out. You know, I might get off of this right now and that be my time is up. And but always show people in your life that you appreciate them and what they mean to you, because that might mean the world to them and that might stop them from ever doing something to hurt them. I encourage that too. You know, because people, you might, one kind word to somebody that you might, even if you don't know them, might change the course of their life and you never knew it. And we don't even know how many times that maybe God saves our lives when we didn't even see it. Like you might turn your head and say, oh, I want to go there and make a last minute turn in your car. But if you'd have went that way, you'd have been out there and, you know, maybe something, you know, the Lord got your attention to look there for. Always be thankful. Always be kind. It makes a difference and it changes the course of everybody's life. It's one small act. If that makes sense. That's all I got.
Absolutely. And I forgot Music City Mom. Thank you for being here. I seen you in chat and was chatting with you and still forgot to say your name in the roll call. Anybody that I've missed, guys, I appreciate y'all being here. This is a safe space for you to share your feelings. And I look forward to talking to all you guys in the future. All right, guys.
Father's Day. Don't forget your dads tomorrow.
Yes, don't forget your dads. Y'all have a blessed night, and I'm out. Have a good evening. Guys.